Welcome to Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationship.
And today we're doing one of our most favorite things we do on the show.
Our monthly Q&A.
Woohoo!
Kendahl.
Jordan.
Hi.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe. I know you're not feeling good. I'm sorry.
I'm not feeling good. I really am not feeling good. We've been really out for the count. I mean, so 2 weeks ago we were exposed to COVID. And so we canceled a bunch of stuff because we were sure of it. We were like, we must have COVID. We didn't end up getting COVID, but we still stayed in our house for a week. And then
just to be safe.
The next week.
And then I immediately went to work and got COVID.
And then so if you listened to the birthday episode, we were talking about going to Mexico. We didn't go to Mexico because we would go.
We've been sick for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
And to be clear, we don't have COVID anymore, but now I have something else going on. I don't know. I don't feel good. I feel so sick. But we're making it through. But we've been I'm interested to see if we bicker today because we have not been apart for
weeks, months.
I mean, and not just we have not been out of the same room for a month because we've been quarantining and so sick. And then we have a roommate. So when we both had COVID, we stayed in our room yes. We have been with each other for so long.
Nonstop.
And we didn't we didn't really argue. We did okay.
No, I think we did fine. I actually think we did great.
I think we did pretty good. How are you doing besides that?
I'm feeling pretty good. I love doing Q&As.
Me too.
They're so fun. And these are all questions that people emailed in. So don't forget, if you have questions for us, you can email them to hwhlpodquestions@gmail.com. And we will read them and we'll try to get to all of them. Yeah. So send us. What I love too, because I was going through all these this morning to compile the ones we were going to ask on this episode, because I wanted them to all feel really different. People will send updates, which I love. So someone will send a question and then we don't get to the question in time. And then they'll be like, update, we canceled the wedding or whatever. It's a huge, and they're like, this is what's going on now. This is the new thing I need help with. And I think that's so nice. I love staying informed on what's going on with people.
Me too. You love drama.
I don't love drama. I think everyone likes a healthy amount of normal drama.
I'm with you.
I don't want anything really bad to happen to anyone, because I'm not a believer. I was just talking to my best friend Lily about this. I am not a believer in the Schadenfreude that people talk about.
What is that?
It's a popular song from Avenue Q, the musical.
Okay.
But it's also, I think I'm saying it right.
Puppets freak me out, so I haven't seen Avenue Q.
Okay. I love puppets. Anyway... oh God, I hate when you talk about how you don't like puppets. I love puppets. It's taking pleasure in someone else's pain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
I'm too easily upset. When I see someone, what's the number one thing that upsets me?
If you see someone miss the bus.
Ooh, if I see someone miss the bus, tears.
There have been times where we've been driving and I see someone, even if they don't miss the bus, but they might miss the bus. They're walking towards the bus and I'm like, hey, Jordan, oh my God, should we turn on Usher? Let's not. And I'm trying to distract you.
Because I cannot see someone miss the bus. So yeah, I don't like that. But I guess we all like it when someone we don't like maybe has a terrible life. Yes. No, not a terrible life, just something a little bad. Lily was telling me about this article she had read where there's this practice of Freudenfreude or whatever, which is the opposite of Schadenfreude, where it's if you can be happy for everyone, it's, I guess, scientifically proven to make you happier. Sure. And I think that's true to an extent. I think finding happiness and pleasure in the successes of your friends, your family, people who are kind, strangers, all nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would make you feel good if you could also find happiness for people you hate, but that's hard.
Very hard. Very, very hard.
And I don't hate that many people. I probably don't hate
You hate
anyone.
more people than I do.
I don't hate that many people. This is the thing. I feel like I dislike more people than you, but you dislike the people you dislike much more strongly
There
than
are
I
maybe,
do.
yeah, there are probably 3 people that I'm like, no, not even 3. There's 2 people that there's 2 people that I'm
think
like.
There's more. I think there's some random people on the internet you like don't know that you really dislike.
But I'm like, I don't know you. I don't wish, I don't want to say I wish anyone ill will, but there are 2 people in my life that I'm like, irredeemable. You are the worst person on earth. The only person you're less bad than is the other person that I also dislike.
I can only think of
Where
one.
I'm like, yeah, well, I'll tell you later. You know them both. But
I can think of a third person.
Well, how can you, if you can think of a third person and you don't know the second person?
This is the person you're thinking of, but you really don't like them.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you after. All's this to say, I think that I'm more quick to be like, ugh, whereas Kendahl is not as quick to do that, but then you feel a lot stronger.
Well, because I will let people be rude to me for a long time. I'm like, people will walk all over me for 3 years, and then once you do something to me.
Not anymore.
No,
because I put a stop to that.
And walk all over me is wrong. I think I give people a lot of chances, and I have a lot of awareness of like, well, they're probably going through something, or they're this and this and this and whatever. But what it takes to make me be like, we're done, is like a lot. Usually someone's done something like truly terrible. Yeah. So by the time you've done that, adding on to the fact that you were like already rude to me for so long, but if I'm done with you, like, it's done. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yes.
I'm never speaking to you again.
And I don't feel that strongly. But I think I'm quicker to be like, this person is annoying. But I think that like almost everyone is redeemable. So if someone's like annoying, well, first of all,
not me, not those 2 people.
I don't think annoying is that bad. I feel like there are people where people will be like, she's annoying, and they'll act like it's the worst thing in the world. I'm like, whatever, most people are annoying.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal to be annoying.
You're dating one of the most annoying people on earth.
No. Not everyone feels that way.
We were talking about this the other day because someone was saying that like people, I'm not going to get into this fully, but people were saying that like if you have ADHD, like people will consider that. Actually, I'm not going to talk about this because
why? I want to talk about it.
Okay, so
I'll start. We got a comment on a clip of us talking about how some gay people want like social credit for being gay, even if they're rude, annoying, whatever. We're like, no, you don't just get a pass on being a bad person because you're gay. You still have to be a nice person. And there is someone in the comments just fighting for their absolute life, insisting that it is ableist to call someone annoying.
Well,
because when you call someone annoying, this is what they're saying. When you call someone annoying, what you're really seeing is their neurodivergent traits. And you're judging them for those neurodivergent traits and calling them annoying instead of saying, hey, this person's not being annoying. They're having neurodivergent traits.
But also what she said was, she was like, this is like when people get mad at a roommate because they don't do the dishes, but really it's because they get distracted because of their ADHD.
I don't know if she said that.
Somebody said.
I said that to you.
Oh, never mind. Well, but to me though, like, so I have very severe ADHD and I am annoying. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, like that to me, it's like, it still is annoying. Like if you have ADHD, like sometimes it's like 11 p.m. and I'm like dancing around our room and you're trying to go to sleep and I like am being like pretending to be a squirrel. And it's like, that is annoying.
And that's what also, ADHD is?
I think it's a part of it. Yeah. Like there's things where I'm like, yeah, this is me kind of having an ADHD moment and it is annoying. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I have ADHD, but that doesn't mean like everyone needs to like sing my praises. Like, but I don't know, you can still be annoying.
What I think is even more bizarre about this person's argument is that essentially anyone who is annoying is neurodivergent and everyone who is neurodivergent is annoying, which I think is a bonkers statement. Because the things that I find annoying are generally people being rude. And I would say, like, you're neurodivergent. You're not rude at all. So I'm like, please.
Yeah.
Please.
So anyways, that's kind of... this really cut Jordan deep this like this.
Well, I'm just like, it's one of those things where I'm like, there is so much ableism in
Well,
this
it's like, what are we
world.
talking about? You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's what it
there's
is.
like so much ableism that so deeply affects people that like this comment of being like, you said someone's annoying. It reminds me of like sometimes people in the queer community will be like, you never know who's actually queer. And I totally think that's true in the sense of when I see someone at a lesbian bar and let's say I perceive them as a man, quote unquote, that's wrong of me. I don't have the right to go up to them and be like, what are you doing here? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Because they could be a mask presenting lesbian that I didn't realize was a lesbian from far away. They could be a non-binary lesbian. They could be a trans woman who, before she decides what she's gonna do with her outward appearance, she's just like going to a new space and seeing how it feels. Like, there's just so many things. You don't know everything. So I agree. You never know who's queer. So don't be judgy. At the same time, I think people get that way with celebrities where they'll be like, you don't know which celebrities are queer. So any celebrity should be allowed to use the queer community for financial gain. Yeah. And you can't say anything about it because they might just secretly be queer. I'm like, it's getting to the point where it feels like, to me, it's like, Ted Cruz could be gay. Don't say something bad about Ted Cruz. What if he's gay? And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't because they're comparing it to, it's like, okay, yeah, a little teenage boy who lives in Arkansas with homophobic parents who is like closeted and we shouldn't be speaking about his sexuality because it could put him in danger is different than like Kate Blanchett wearing pantsuits constantly and being like, I don't know my sexuality. Like, it's not the same. We're doing a Q&A today.
We're doing a Q&A.
I'm so excited. We're doing a Gmail specific Q&A.
A Gmail specific. Shout out to Gmail.
And I haven't read these. Jordan picked out all of these.
Oh yeah, I did this morning.
Because I've been a little baby.
Oh, Kendahl was supposed to wake up at 8 a.m. and clean our apartment because my mom is coming over tonight. Let's just say Kendahl woke up at 10:30. Let's just say.
But I did a pretty
Kendahl
quick
woke up at
clean
10:30.
though, didn't I?
You did a clean.
I did a quick clean, but I just felt so sick. Last night was really, I got really sick last night.
I know. Kendahl does this thing that I think is so funny that when she's sick for some reason, she can't just be like, I'm sick. She has to be like, I'm sick. And like kind of pretend like she's crying. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're not crying. You don't have to pretend like you could just be sick.
I know, but I think it's sometimes I need to show the severity because I was so sick last night. I was so sick last night, and I like woke you up, which I've never. I don't think I've ever woken you up in our years of dating. I like woke you up and was like, for being sick. I woke you up and I was like, I'm so sick.
And she'll be like, and I'm like, I can see that you're not crying. And that's okay. You don't need to be crying. You can just say you're sick. And I'm like, you're going to make yourself throw up. You're trying to make yourself cry.
Yeah. Oh,
it's really funny.
First question.
It's really funny. I love you very much.
You're with me today, guys. Sorry.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here's our first question. Also, I should have said, some of these questions I've abbreviated a little bit or taken out particularly sensitive information because y'all are sending us a lot of information. I get scared saying it out loud. I guess if you email us and you're like, say my name, include it in the email.
It'll be like, my name's Joanne. I live in this town, and my husband and I have been married for 42 years. We got married at the courthouse, and I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna definitely see this. Maybe probably not.
Yeah, he's gonna listen to this podcast. But so I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, if you want your name and your city of origin to be said,
let me know.
Let us know. The first question. Does the fact that I'm visually attracted to men but have next to zero interest in having actual relationships with them mean that I might be a lesbian and not bisexual as I currently identify?
Oh, I feel like you'd be the better person to answer this question.
Because I used to identify as bisexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. To me, people will argue to the absolute death about this. So there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. And what other people is none of my business, but you did ask us, so I'll answer.
It's so funny. We just keep going, that's none of my business.
That's none of my business. It's like the worst podcast you've ever listened to. All these questions, they're like, how do I break up with my boyfriend? I'm like, that's none of my business.
Why don't you look inward?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know you and your boyfriend.
Stop emailing us like we ask you to every episode. I think that your sexuality is whatever you decide it is. I understand why people, especially on TikTok lately, have been upset about people being like, I'm a bisexual lesbian. I'm a pansexual lesbian. People are like, that doesn't exist. Okay, sure. Sure. If those people say so, whatever. But to me, I think you can, if you're a woman, I think you can look at a man, or if you're a non-binary person, I think you can look at a man and be like, that person's attractive. Objectively, that person's attractive. If you have no interest in pursuing romantic or sexual relationships with men.
But that's not what they said. They are interested in pursuing sexual.
No, they didn't.
Oh.
I mean, they didn't say that explicitly.
I thought that was their point, is that they're like, I sexually am attracted.
I don't think so. They said I'm visually attracted to men.
Okay.
I'm like, visually?
Yeah.
I'm visually attracted to paintings. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is visually attracted? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
It's like a lot of things are visually attractive.
Yeah.
It does not mean I want to have a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, if you can see men from afar and think they're attractive, cool. If you can be like, oh, there's this man celebrity that I have a weird little crush on, cool. If in real life you have no desire to have actual physical or emotional relationships with men, that feels lesbian to me.
Yeah.
There are people that would truly come to my house and kill me if they heard me say that, because I'm sure they feel differently. That being said, that's just how I feel.
Well, it's also just like if you identify as lesbian and then you meet a man that you're like, oh, then you can still go on a date with him.
Yes. And some people will be like, sexuality is not fluid. Great for you. For some other people, sexuality is fluid.
True.
And we always say this, but once you start breaking down gender and your gender identity changes, if your partner's gender identity changes, like all those things can really change sexuality for you, the sexual spectrum, whatever. So to me, identify however you feel most comfortable with.
Yeah.
That being said, if you identify as a lesbian and keep dating men, people will be annoyed with you. Yeah. I don't know. I don't care, but I think there are people in the community that will be annoyed with you.
Mm-hmm. True.
I don't care what almost anyone else does.
I know. That's what I'm sitting here thinking about. I'm just like, people, you keep being like, people get so mad, and it's so true. And I'm just like, and maybe this is wrong on my part, I've just like never cared about something like that.
You know what I'll say too? Recently, I've seen a lot of people be like, when a lesbian says that she has a crush on this male celebrity or blah, blah, whatever, it reinforces the quote unquote stereotype or idea or whatever that, oh, lesbians just need to meet the right man and then they'll be straight or then they'll be attracted to men or whatever. And for me, I'm kind of like, don't put that on me.
Yeah, that's not a stereotype I made.
I didn't invent that stereotype. I'm not perpetuating that stereotype. If men hear me say that Idris Elba is a hottie patati and that makes them think that I'm secretly straight, that is not my fault. No, that has nothing to do with me.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I haven't met Channing Tatum yet. I'm a lesbian. I have a crush on Channing Tatum. And so if you want to say, well, that means that you just haven't met the right man yet, okay. Like, yeah, no man in my life has ever been like Channing Tatum. No man in my life has ever looked like Channing Tatum.
This is not even about Channing Tatum. This is just about Kendahl wanting to meet Channing Tatum.
So until I've met Channing Tatum, maybe I don't know my sexuality. I'm not saying, so if you want to say that I'm a lesbian who just hasn't met the right man yet, okay, why don't you all try to get on Channing Tatum's level?
Kendahl just wants to meet Channing Tatum. Kendahl's never been with a man and we're engaged to be married. But Kendahl really wants to meet Channing Tatum.
But I will not get married, and I've told you this. I will not say those vows until I have met him because I do not know.
Absolutely. We're planning on getting married next year, so if anyone has a contact to Channing Tatum,
I will push the date.
Please let us know because we're trying to solidify some stuff in our lives.
Because there's no way to know.
And it's been really hard to do that without Kendahl having met Channing Tatum. Yeah. I just think people it's like, shut up.
I know. That's like how I feel constantly. I'm just like, shut up. That's how I feel. I keep having to remind Jordan of this because I think recently I've heard this discourse from a lot of people in my life where they're just like...
In your life or on the internet?
In my life.
Okay.
Where people are like, the comments on the internet are making me feel insane. Yes. And like, it just people talking about comments they've received and how crazy it makes them feel. And it's such a different time where it's not like... It used to be like trolls, but it's not that now. I mean, there are trolls, but it's like these people that are real people that are giving their actual opinions, but their opinions make you want to shove your head through a wall. And that is so much worse than someone just like, I miss when it was just like homophobic comments towards me. You know what I mean?
Well, because it felt easier. It felt easier when some weird 14-year-old boy on the internet was like, shut up, fat lesbian.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But now it's like...
when it's like, you know, just
a real person is voting and has like an opinion that you're just like,
and who's in your community
and who's mad at me, and like it just makes you feel so. But what I'm trying to remind all of us is to just sometimes take a step away from the internet, because I think it can feel like every person is like these people in the comments, and the reality is, think about every friend you have. All of them would probably be like, that's such a weird comment.
Yes, all of your friends are normal. Most of the people you know are normal. People get on the internet and behave in a way that they would not behave in real life. Yeah. That's the number one problem with the internet.
And I think it can make you feel, at least it makes me feel, where it's like, oh my God, we're like this now. Like, this is how this has become. People are so annoying now. But it's like, well, no, annoying people have always been there. We just haven't had so much, like, we wouldn't have been friends with them. I just like wouldn't have seen what they had to say because I wouldn't have had them in my life. But now I'm exposed to their thoughts constantly.
Well, I went to the gynecologist recently, which I would recommend to all of you. If you haven't been, you should check it out.
You're really saying it like it's a thing like you've never heard.
If you guys have never been, you have to go. I loved it. I go all the time because I had a cervical cancer scare a couple years ago. Now it's like 6 years ago. Oh my God. And now I got to go every like 6 months. I had to go every 3 months. Then I had to go every 6 months. Then I had to go every year. Now I can go every 3 years and get a pap smear.
What?
Can you believe?
You're supposed to go every year.
You don't need to get a pap smear every year.
No.
It's like new now. They've decided, I think, every 5 years is what you're supposed to do.
Well, I just got my first one last year and it was maybe the worst thing I've ever done.
That's unbelievable. First of all, you should have had it earlier. Second of all, you didn't go to my gynecologist. And I told you should have. I love my gynecologist.
Well, first of all, I didn't have health insurance for a really long time. And second of all...
Not last year. You had health insurance last year.
Yeah, and I went to the gynecologist.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I would have, but we've been dating for many years. You should have gone to the gynecologist sooner.
I'm with you there.
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah.
This is why I handle stuff. Anyway, I went to the gynecologist and I said to her, I've been seeing more and more people have breast cancer. I'm nervous. Is something happening? Are more and more people having breast cancer?
Well, you said even more specifically, you said, I've heard there is a rise in breast cancer.
There's no way to remember what I said.
That's what you told me.
I'm sure.
I think it's important to your story. You said I've heard people saying there's been a rise in breast cancer.
Whatever I said, you guys get the gist. It's breast cancer. And my gynecologist was like, there actually statistically has not really been a rise in breast cancer. What's happening is that you are seeing so many more people on the internet than you would ever normally see in real life.
Because like how many people in real life, knock on wood, do you know that has breast cancer?
Sure, not that many. But you're seeing so many more people than you would ever normally see. So now you're seeing all these people who have probably always been around, always existed. This number of people has always existed, but you're seeing so many more of them. So you're like, oh, there's more. She was like, no, we all should be getting our mammograms, our breast exams, doing them at home, going to the gynecologist, but there's not specifically a rise in breast
Well, it's
cancer.
The same way with kidnapping. People are thinking you can't leave your kids. People are like, if you leave them, don't take them to school because they'll get kidnapped at school.
White people are obsessed with the idea that their kids are going to get kidnapped.
Literally, I am like, what? I was talking about this the other day. I was like, parents are always talking nowadays about, we need more of a village. We need more, like, it's hard because I feel like parents are so individuals now where it's like, we have our kids and no one else helps us. And it's like, yeah, because you all, this is really blaming the parents here, but you all are like, I can't leave my kid with anyone. I can't leave my kid with anyone, or they're going to take them and they're going to kidnap them. It's like, actually, more than ever, you could pretty much leave your kid with anyone and there would be no way for that person to kidnap them unless I mean, if they want to kidnap him, they're going to kidnap him. That you will be able to find that person. Versus like in the 70s, and you hear all the time parents go, well, it's a different time now. I don't let my kids do this because it's a different time. I'm like, yeah, it's a different time. It's 80 million times safer. In the 70s, I would be like, yeah, my kid probably shouldn't walk to school because every day a child gets kidnapped.
That's not a real statistic, just to be clear.
But a lot of kids were getting kidnapped. But you didn't know. But how many people knew a kid that was kidnapped growing up? Most people didn't because it's not common. Now, in real life, no one knows any child that has been kidnapped.
Not no one. That's not a real statistic either. This is not an information podcast. You guys know that.
But I'm like, the 3 people, that's not a statistic, that have been kidnapped, we see it on the internet. So you start to feel like, oh, I'm like seeing all these people get kidnapped. And it's like, no.
You're just
one's getting kidnapped.
You're just being inundated with so much more than before. And white people love the idea that their kids are going to get kidnapped. They love the idea that they're going to get sex trafficked. It's so crazy. And it's really not how kidnapping or sex trafficking works most of the time anyway. And it mostly happens to people of color. But white people are like obsessed with the idea
of getting kidnapped. I'm like, I'm sorry. I would be so comfortable if I had a child. Like, if I had a child being like, it's like even we live in an apartment. I feel like if I had a kid, if I took my kid to a neighbor that I like knew kind of, like we'd seen a couple times, I was like, can you watch my kid for today? And they were like, sure. If I came home and they had taken my kid, they moved, they like weren't planning this, but then we're like, okay, I'm gonna just kidnap this kid. Okay, well, our whole apartment has security cameras. I know their name. I'm able to get probably their social security number within 20 minutes. Like it's so impossible to kidnap someone.
Wow. Please don't kidnap Kendahl to prove her wrong. Please. I know that's feeling really tempting right now. I get it. Please don't kidnap her. My girlfriend and I will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary this November. We have been together since we were 15 and have been talking about getting married for the past few years. My question for you guys is, what are some fun ideas for my proposal?
Oh, cute.
I knew you'd love this one.
I mean, I think it's always fun to like do something that feels special to you guys specifically, whether that's a place or, I mean, also I guess it depends if your partner is really specific about how they want their proposal.
Yes, I've brought this up before, but the day before I was going to propose to Kendahl, I saw all these TikToks that were like, here are my non-negotiables for a proposal. Number 1, it better not be on a holiday. I proposed to Christmas.
You proposed to Christmas? Who's that?
Kendahl.
Jordan.
Kendahl?
Who's Christmas?
Kendahl.
Who's Christmas?
I proposed to Kendahl on Christmas morning. And I was like, am I not supposed to do this? Is this a hated thing? I get it. I think what it comes from is people being like, I don't want another important day to also be shared with my important day. How people don't like to have their birthday on Christmas or whatever. That being said, Christmas means like nothing to us and we don't do anything for Christmas.
Well, Christmas means everything to me.
But not in a...
I think the difference too is
you love
like...
Christmas time.
I love Christmas time, but also, like, yeah, Christmas Day specifically,
we don't care about, do anything.
But also, like, we don't have big families, so I think there's some people too where it's like, well, I'd propose to you, and then I have to be with like 30 of my family members all day, and we have to be doing like opening gifts and like doing all this stuff. Whereas we got engaged by ourselves with our dog, and then we just went to Palm Springs.
Yeah, I think you just really have to know what they want. I think that's the most important thing. Because if they don't like spectacle and you do a public proposal, big miss.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's always nice to keep it simple. I think it's really, but if they are a person that's like, I need a photographer and I need all this, then do that. But I think it's nice to like, find something that's meaningful to you. Like if you guys, I don't know, one of your first dates, you went on a hike, go do that hike. And then you do, but I think just like make it feel really intentional and give, a cute little speech, whatever.
I'll say my friend Dana just got proposed to.
Dana.
In front of a Target. Because her fiance was like, I wanted to bring you to your favorite place to propose to you. And that is so funny.
You could have done that for me.
I know. That's so funny.
Because what have I always said? I'm like, when I walk into a Target, it feels like no matter what is going on in my life, no matter how stressed I am, my mind is at peace. You walk in, you hear the clanking of the carts, the smell of the floor, the children screaming, and I'm just like, so comfortable. I could tell you right now, if I wanted to, I could list our local Target aisle by aisle. I could tell you.
Kendall's getting aroused. I have to cut her off. This is such a fun idea, though, right? Like, it's so fun. It's so silly. In the video, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I never would have realized you were doing this. I never." It was like such a good surprise. So if your partner likes a surprise, that's so fun. To me, proposals should be fun. Yeah, they're not like this big sacred thing to me. I think when you put too much time and effort and money into them, they become this stressful thing that then like maybe the person that's receiving the proposal is excited about it, but the person doing the proposing is really stressed. I'm like, I think you should both be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Let's both say quickly 3 ways we would like to be proposed to that feel fun.
Okay.
1.
Oh, wait. At the same time we have to say it?
No.
Oh.
What? How would that work?
I don't know. I got scared. I was like, how are we going to do that?
Okay. 1.
On a beach walk.
2.
I think waking up and having like, it's like in your bed. They've kind of like decorated the room and they do a little proposal. It'd be kind of hard to do, but that's kind of cute. That's casual.
3.
And I think a dinner proposal, I wouldn't want it, but I do think it's fun because it feels very romantic and intimate. But then once you get down on one knee, you get really, people like clap, and I do think it's fun. It feels like a good, and I wouldn't have wanted that. And I told you that. I was like, don't do it in public. I don't want to do that. But I think if you're someone who like doesn't want a huge public proposal, but you know, it feels like a good middle ground where still there's a bunch of people around who are going to like clap and as they walk by congratulate you, make you feel special. But like the actual like, you don't have to like interact with everyone and it can still feel private while also having a little moment of attention, which I think is fun. What about you?
At an amusement park on a not scary ride.
That's where
I was going to propose to Kendahl.
That's where you were going to propose.
But then I had to get surgery on both my feet, so we had to switch up the plan.
The new plan was propose on the couch and I gave you a sponge bath, which honestly I think was more romantic.
Incredible. My second one would be doing karaoke. That could be really cute.
Oh, that's fun.
That could be
like a private karaoke room?
No, I was thinking a public one.
Oh, okay.
Like at a place where you guys could go do karaoke and then like on the screen it comes up like, you know how the lyrics come up on the screen?
Oh, that's fun.
I think that's fun. I think that would be really fun.
But you know what? It could be fun too if you're not into like public. You could get a group of friends together too and do one of those private karaoke's and then you're with like all your friends, which like makes sense. It wouldn't be like suspicious either. That's a really good idea.
Feel free to take that, anyone.
You should do that for me.
You credit me. I already proposed to you.
I know we should do one again.
Okay. No. No.
Now you're gonna regret it because every time we go to do karaoke, I'm gonna be like,
"Is this my second proposal? Are we doing a proposal renewal?"
I'm like, "You guys, my nails aren't done." They're like, "It actually doesn't matter." I'm like, "No, okay, let's go. Let's just go get my nails done."
And then number 3, I would say would be. Ooh, I know I got another good one in me. Hold on. Maybe you order takeout from your favorite place and it gets delivered, and when it gets to delivery at your front door, you get them to like bring it inside, and when they go into it to like take the stuff out, the first thing they take out is like the ring. If you want to do like a casual at-home proposal that still has a surprise element.
Wait, so you have to give the ring to the takeout place?
No, you'd probably just have your friend do it.
Oh.
So you'd be like, we're ordering delivery from this restaurant we love.
Pickup, and your friend is picking it up.
And your friend picks it up, drops it off. You're like, oh, the food's here. Can you grab it? They go grab it, bring it out, start to take the stuff out. The first thing is the ring. They turn around. You're standing there, bouquet of flowers.
That's so cute.
I want to eat Szechuan house with you every day for the rest of my life. Will you marry me?
That's so sweet.
God, I'm romantic.
God, that's good. All right, next question.
Okay. I have a newish friend group of 4 girls. I, along with 2 other girls, are gay, and I have a crazy crush on one of them. The issue is that me and this girl always flirt, but it becomes a just kidding type of situation. I'm so scared I'm going to mess up the group dynamic, but I also feel this crush is so deep and can't tell if it's reciprocated or not. What should I do?
So give me butterflies. Thinking about it. A new crush is so fun.
Yeah, just tell them. Your friend group is newish. It's not that solidified. If they don't want to be friends anymore because you have a crush on one of them, the friend group's not that strong. And you will never not have a crush on them if you don't try it out.
And maybe, unless you've already, don't panic if you've already done what I'm about to say, so it's fine. But I would say if you haven't done anything, maybe don't tell the other friends.
Yes.
And you could just like privately pull that person aside and be like, and express all this. Be like, I really have hesitated to say this because I don't want to mess up the friend group. So if I'm reading the vibes wrong, seriously, let's just not, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, just, like, just let me know.
I can move past, we can be just friends. Like, I literally just wanted to bring it up. And I don't want to like tell anyone else because I don't want to mess up this new dynamic because I'm really enjoying being friends. Like,
spending time together.
Yeah, like I'm really loving being friends. But I just have to admit, like, I am having like feelings about you. And so like I would think that was hot. If someone was just very open, I think just be very honest. And then it feels like you guys can be on the same page where if she's like, yeah, I really love this friend group too. I'm not necessarily feeling the same way, but I like that's good for me to know too. Cause maybe also she'll like chill with the flirting a little bit.
Yes.
Cause I will say when I was single, there were people that I didn't have a crush on, but if they were gay, I would flirt with them.
You're out of control.
Me?
You were out of control.
I was. There was this girl I went to college with. I was flirting with her all the time. And then I felt bad because I think at one point she was kind of like, oh, really? Having a thing? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like just flirting for attention.
You're out of control.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Not even attention is the wrong word, but it's fun. Like, it's fun to flirt and be like, you know, and be like, oh, I want to marry you, blah, 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 whatever, you know, and then, but then you don't actually want to like date that person.
Yeah.
So I think it could be a good wake up call to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was all in good fun. Let's just be friends. Or maybe she'll say, come over here and smooch me.
Yeah, we're big proponents of just going for it. Next question. After finding out my girlfriend of 6 years was cheating on me and had a second relationship, my friends and family have been very supportive, but I'm finding it very difficult to have conversations with them about my ex or our relationship. I know they are only trying to make me feel better, but they're always talking shit about my ex and picking apart all of her flaws and how she ruined the relationship. I agree with them, but it's also hard to hear this about someone who, until just a few months ago, I had spent years loving. Advice? I think there's two ways you can go. One, you have to let it go. You're looking back at your relationship with rose-colored glasses. This was not just a we're going separate ways breakup where there's no bad vibes, so why would your family be talking bad about them? They had a secret relationship behind your back.
Yeah.
I mean,
sorry to do exactly what your family did, but it sounds like they were a bad person. Well, because that's also like, mistakes happen. Long relationships are hard. Like, I think if you've been in a relationship with someone for 15 years, and close your ears for this, Jordan, but you have a one-night fling when you guys are going through a hard time. Okay, you can open them. I don't think that's not good. And if you want to break up with someone because of that, 100% go for it. But I can understand being like, they're not a bad person.
You can move through that.
Yes, you weren't supposed to be listening.
I'm guessing what you're talking about.
But I totally get being like, mistakes happen, whatever. Cheating on someone, as someone who one time was in a relationship where it was a little on and off and it wasn't really a relationship, and there were both of us, I think, kind of like maybe flirted with other people and maybe kissed other people. I don't know. But
okay.
It was you.
Is it this? No. Is it our relationship?
Yeah, I'm in a relationship and I'm cheating on someone with you. Mm-hmm. I'm so bad at it. She's like, yeah, you post every week a podcast episode with your girlfriend. No, we were like not ever official, but it was dramatic, whatever. I was like 18 years old, but I like kissed another girl and then I felt really bad about it because whatever. Things like that definitely happen in life. However, even that person who like we weren't dating, we were not officially dating, they did not like me. I'm sure they would have been happy to hear that I'd kissed someone else because they'd be like, thank God you take Kendahl. Even in that, I would have never secretly dated someone without telling them. And the second I kissed that other person, I broke up with it. I was like, we have to stop because I felt so guilty because it felt like so bad. So my point in that being, that was not even hardly a relationship, and I still had enough like respect for her to be like, this isn't cool. We obviously are not working. I just think it's so intentional to have a secret relationship, so much planning that goes into it. and it's so disrespectful to you. And that, when people say once a cheater, always a cheater, I disagree on a one-off level, because I think there's been some people where they have a one-off cheat that I've known people, they cheat on their partner of like years for one time, ruins their life, and they have literal like trauma over like cheat. They're like, I will never do that again. But people who plan cheating and cheat continually for a long time, I'm like, yeah, you can't. That, I mean,
because you're getting off on the secrecy and on whatever. So that feels bad. Also for me, even just for like sexual safety, I think it's so horrible to be secretly having sex with someone else or with other people when your partner thinks you're only having sex with them. I think that's really, really bad and could be really dangerous. So I understand where your friends and family are coming from. I think you need to maybe take your rose-colored glasses off. Yes, you spent years loving them. There's nothing wrong with that. No regrets. But we need to look at this person for who they are now. And who they are now is someone who is not well-behaved.
And you don't need to protect them either. I think there probably can be a feeling of like, okay, but they're not all, like, let me show you these good parts of them. And it's like, why? You're not going to date them again, or you shouldn't. And also, like, that, yeah, that's part of dating. You see a side of someone that other people don't see. But I think it's helpful to see what other people see, because they're not getting to see that really intimate person. They're seeing them for what they are. They're seeing them as how their outside is reflecting, how they treat other people, how they've treated you. They're not seeing them at 2 a.m. when they're crying and being like, well, I am this way because of this. Who fucking cares? Like, I don't care if you are the way you are for reasons. We all have stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if they're treating you poorly, that's what your family and friends are going to see. And that is valuable information.
And your friends and family having problems with your ex-partner is not a statement on you. So I think that is important to keep in mind. Now, secondly, if it's something that really bothers you and you can't get past, just tell them, hey, I'm already feeling bad enough about this situation. I really appreciate how supportive you're being. You are saying bad stuff about Cassandra to try to make me feel better, but for whatever reason, I think it's just making me feel worse. Maybe let's just not talk about her at all.
Yeah.
Easy. Done.
Yeah.
I think those are the two ways to go.
I think so too. But I love shitting on an ex. Like, and not in a way that's not like forever. But when you're first going through a breakup, even if you don't feel it, fake it till you make it. Like, yes. I feel like sometimes it is fun to just sit with your friends and be like, let's list everything that is wrong with them. And no, you don't have to do that publicly or do it in a way that's real. But it's just sometimes healing to let yourself go there, because I also think sometimes maybe there's this fear. I'm not saying this is for you, but this fear of like, well, if we break up and now I tell my friends how they are and what they've done to me, that makes it permanent. Whereas before, I could have gone back. I could have like taken them back. I could have gotten back with them. But once you tell people what an asshole they are, you can never go back. And it's like, I think that's good.
Yeah.
It holds you accountable a little bit.
Absolutely. My friend is bisexual and engaged to a man. She will constantly try to compare her experience of being with him to my experience of dating women. She will say things like, dating him is so sapphic, or he's so lesbian coded. She has even gone as far to say that she suspects he is gender nonconforming and that she checks in with him periodically to see if his gender identity has changed. She also asked me recently how I knew I was a lesbian and if being with men in my past, quote unquote, counts. Comp-het arguments aside, it makes me think that she still has some exploring to do with sexuality. I don't think it's my place to suggest that she might be working through things, but she is getting married to him after dating for about a year. I know I need to talk to her about this stuff because it has brought up a lot of resentment in our friendship, but I'm not sure how to talk about it with her in a kind way. Am I the asshole? Thoughts? Advice?
Oh, wow.
That's a lot. First of all, she has to stop saying that her male fiance is lesbian coded. That will not make her any friends, and it also
is wrong.
Does not make sense.
It doesn't make sense. What does that mean?
He's lesbian coded? What's he do?
You just mean
he only wears pink,
orange,
and white? What's he doing?
Like, I sometimes just feel like it's like if a man is at all respectful, people are like, he's gay coded. I'm like,
he's so gay coded.
What?
Bi wife energy. Like, whatever these things are, I'm like, no.
No.
That's all I have to say
No,
about it. I'm like,
no.
he's just a man. If he's a nice man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like, but he doesn't, what is she talking about? Or saying that being with him is sapphic? What's going on? I also think it is so disrespectful to him to be like, I think he's gender nonconforming. And then she checks in with him to see if his gender identity has changed. Some big stuff is going on with her because that is so disrespectful to him. He needs to have a conversation with her and be like, you have to stop that.
Conservatives think liberals are doing with their children.
Yes, it's so disrespectful.
Are we sure we're not feeling anything?
It's wild. So she has to stop doing that. I think even if you bring that to her attention and be like, hey, does he think that's weird? Because it sounds really rude. That's my first thought reading all of that. It's also disrespectful to you. But secondly, I think that it's so hard when you and your friend are not living in the same reality. And I think that I'm a proponent of, if it really feels important to you, if you really think it will truly help your friend, it's done from a place of wanting to service them and not yourself, bring it up one time. If they're not receptive to it, don't bring it up again. And maybe you have to stop being friends with them because of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's hard to be friends with someone that doesn't operate within the same world as you, that's on a fully different planet.
Yeah.
But I do think you should tell her to stop saying that her husband is lesbian coded. That's weird. It's disrespectful to you and him. I think you can even just ask her, hey, why is it so important to you that I see your fiance as a woman, as a lesbian? It feels confusing to me. I think just be honest about it. Don't be mean, but I think you can investigate that. But I'm like, one and done. Bring it up one time. If they're not receptive to it, if they don't get it, whatever, then I'm like, okay, then it is what it is.
And if you're not as confrontational as Jordan, send a text.
Wild.
Well, I just wouldn't be able to do. I would be so well, but I will say wait until she brings it up again, and then you can just kind of make like if she's like, he's so Sapphic coded, you could be like, well, no, not really, because he's a man, and I think maybe, or
you can be like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah,
when you say that, what does that mean? You can even tell her that it makes you feel kind of invalidated, or that it makes you feel like she's invalidating him. There's nothing wrong with dating a man.
No.
If your concern is that she's secretly gay, that's her journey. That's not your journey.
Well, and look, it'll all come out in the end.
So true.
I've had a very similar experience, right? A friend who was in a relationship. And I was like, I feel like there's a lot that has not been explored here. There's a lot of feelings going on that have not been explored. And
both sexually and non-sexually.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot going
not
on.
been thought about. But they continued to move forward with this relationship, and they were together a long time. And it was none. I just had to it's not my business. I had to just say, it's not my business. I would like, if it was brought up to me, I would say, yeah, I mean, I think that is something you should explore. I feel like that feeling is not going to go away. That should be something you explore. But if I'm not asked, I'm not. And I don't need to tell you what to do. I'm just validating your feelings. In the end, it ended.
That being said, you did have to take a little bit of a step back from that friendship.
Of course.
Because once again, it's hard to be friends with someone that's like not on the same plane as you.
Yes. I mean, there was a lot of reasons there. But I think, yes, mostly just that it was like, I am not. If this person is gay, and this is no longer talking about what I'm talking about, this is just a different thing. But if you have a friend who's gay and is about to marry a man, and you have some open, honest conversations with them, but they're gonna do it, they're gonna eventually go on a journey, and they're gonna get a divorce. And that's
all
just
throughout
like,
history, gay people have married straight people.
Yes, and they will get divorced. They will. And they're on, because they're living their own life is their first priority. It doesn't need to be your first priority. They will eventually figure it out. I think just things always end up coming out, and people go on their own journeys. And, when I was in bad relationships, it didn't matter how many people told me, hey, this girlfriend doesn't seem like you guys are a really great couple. Didn't matter until I decided it. So I think, and some people just aren't ready to go on that journey yet, or it feels scary, but eventually they will. And it might end in divorce. I think a wedding feels very scary, where you're like, oh my God, like this is going to be permanent, but it's not.
Yeah.
for now.
But
who knows what will happen in the United States?
But tell her to stop saying that her
that stuff is
husband
insane.
is this Sapphic.
Because I'm like, I am so sick of it's like gay does not equal liberal. Now, do I understand that in a perfect world where I'm like, yeah, it's crazy to vote against your own interests. Like it should be that, but it doesn't. So, but I think on the flip side, there are a lot of straight people who are like trying to prove how much they believe in universal health care. And in doing so, are like, I guess I'm queer. I'm like, no, you want to be able to get a colonoscopy. You're not gay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that it's so important to remember that separating yourself from straightness, from the patriarchy, from whiteness doesn't help people of color, doesn't help gay people, doesn't help women. Like, what you need to do is focus on doing things that are actually helpful if you want to be part of a change, instead of just being like, well, yes, I'm white, but I also am gay. It's like, okay, you're still white. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Or if you're like, well, yes, I'm a man, but I'm heterosexual, but I'm pan-romantic. I'm like, okay, that doesn't do anything for anyone. That's a personal thing between you, yourself, and you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like that's not a global service you're doing.
No, but so I just think sometimes with like straight people who are very, very, very leftist, they will be like, and I'm queer because I believe in these values. And I'm like, it actually would be, and you also might be, but I'm saying there's also some people where it feels like they're like, I feel these political things, so I had to dye my hair this color and become a lesbian. And it's like, it would have been so helpful for you to just like be true to yourself and be like, I'm straight and a huge ally.
That's like, what I always say about like Harry Styles. People are like, he's a bi king. And I'm like, well, he doesn't identify as bisexual. He's never come out. What I think would be more helpful is if he was just like, yeah, I'm straight, but I love to wear dresses. Straight cis men can wear dresses. We need to break down the gender binary. I'm like, yeah, that's so much more helpful than him being like, who knows what my sexuality is? Like, it's like, and if that's what he wants to do, that's great. But once again, that's an individual act that like he's doing for himself.
Next question.
I'm getting married in November and I am undecided if I want to take my husband's last name. While I know this may seem like a normal dilemma to have, it's not so cut and dry. Oh. My future mother-in-law has the same first name as me. If I take his last name, we will essentially have the exact same name. And we already run into confusing moments during conversation just sharing the same first name.
Yeah.
I know the simple answer is, why not just keep your current last name? I would, but it's my father's last name and I'm ready to ditch it because we don't have a great relationship anymore. I'm also not into making up a random last name.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah.
What's your advice?
Oh, that's hard. I would say go with, it seems like, maybe I'm wrong. It seems like you want to take your husband's last name. The only thing that's in the way is like if the mother-in-law didn't have your same name, it wouldn't be a question. So to me, I'm like, just take the last name. You guys will figure it out. I'm like, there might be confusion, but it can't be so much confusion that it's like ruining your guys' life.
They're also not going to be saying, I don't think the confusion will get worse. Because how often are they referring to either one of you by your full name?
First and last name, yes. And though I understand it could be weird having the first and last name as your partner's parents, I think you got to take them out and do what you want to do.
Yes.
But yeah, making up the last name I've always thought is funny. And not in a good way.
I
do what you want to do. I mean, that's iconic if you want to change your last name, but I'm just like, what? But I know for me, like, I'm probably going to keep my last name because, like, I did have a really good relationship with my dad and he's dead. And I am like,
well, it's changed so much. You were always like, I'm going to take your last name. And then when your dad died, you were like, actually, I'm going to keep my dad's last name.
Yeah. Did that upset you?
And I'm mad and I want to talk to you. No, I don't care.
You spent thousands of dollars on all those embroideries.
Yes. And in my mind, you're still Kendahl Myrick. But
yeah, I was like, oh, it's actually, I would love to have that piece of my, like, it's also, for me, crazy to change your name. I know that's like insane because most people do change their name. Yeah. But I'm like, that's my name. Like, can you imagine just having a different name?
No, to me, it feels like just change the whole thing. We're getting married. My name now is Susan Big Top. Like, I'm just like, I'm like, do a fully different name. To go through all that to just change your last name, I don't know if I would do it, but also we're both public personas that have things tied to our name.
I was like, I can't change my name. So I would be just changing my name on legal documents, which I'm like, wow, I've actually never cared about anything less.
Who cares?
The only time I wish we had the same last name is sometimes there's these cute things on Etsy that like for our front door that say like, it would say like the Myricks, which I'm like, oh, that's sweet.
I feel like we could still do that, though.
We can't put the Landreths and the Myricks. That's
the Myrick Landreths.
Yeah, it's once again.
Or we could do the Myricks.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't we just do the Landreths?
Well, because you wanted to take my last name.
Well, you know what's interesting? But it's actually not interesting. It's not that interesting. It's actually one of the least interesting statements I've ever said.
I'm excited to hear it.
That can't be true. I was always like, I'm not going to change my last name when I get married. And then when I met you, I was like, maybe I would change my last name. And no offense to you, it didn't really have anything to do with our relationship. I thought your last name was very cool. Like, I was like, Myrick is such a cool last name. I don't know why. I just think it's a cool name.
Never heard that.
Kendahl Myrick. I'm like, I love that. Like, I love the way that sounds. Like, that's so fun. So I was like, okay, I'm going to change it. But then I was just like, I'm not going to. But once again, too, it's like, I'm not going to change it publicly.
Yeah.
So it would just be, it's like a lot of paperwork.
But if we just put the Myricks on stuff, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If you really want those things from Etsy. My other thing that I was going to say that you could do is you could change your last name. If you don't want your dad's last name and you don't want your husband's last name, you could change it to another name in your family.
Or your middle name.
Yeah, I think so. You could take your mom's maiden name. You could take like your great-grandfather's middle name or last name. You could take what your middle name is and now that's your last name. You and your husband could both change your last names to one of your middle names. There's so many options. But I think ultimately just do whatever in your heart of hearts you want to do most.
Yeah.
Don't think about other people. Don't be like, well, when we're all together at Thanksgiving and someone says, Joanna, me and his mom are both going to turn around. It doesn't matter. And they'll come up with things. People call people nicknames. They'll call her Big J. They'll call you Lil J. It'll be fine.
Well, and I come from, it's funny because I feel like growing up, I have my family's from the South. And I'm sure this is the same in a lot of different places, but it feels like everyone's names are the same. Like, I feel
because both our dads are not junior, but like a numeral.
Yes, I think I get it all mixed up.
Your dad
but
and
the
my
reason,
dad both,
But the reason I get it mixed up is because every boy in any Southern family is named after their dad. Every single one.
Yeah,
and
that's true for both
I have seen Southern families where they have two boys, they still name them the same name after the dad, but do second and third. Crazy.
Well, your dad was named after his dad, and your dad's name was Gene, and his sister's name is Eugenia. They were on one. His dad was having a massive power trip when that happened. He said, give all the kids my name.
It's crazy. So I'm like, it's fine. Like, I just am used, like, that doesn't feel that crazy to me. Like, I feel like I have like 80 family members with the same name. It's just like, well, I won't say the names, I guess, but it's just like the same first and last name.
Yeah.
But then everybody has like a little nickname. It's the same. Everyone has a nickname. And I was laughing because we did have like I feel like we would have like Big Joe, Little Joe. Like that would just be how it was. So that just like does not feel crazy to me. I think we're moving into a world where everyone's name is like Pretensly is what I was trying to say, and then I misspoke.
Pretenslow is cool
too. It's kind of cute, actually.
Wait, should we have a baby?
But I think back in the day, everyone's name was just Mary Elizabeth, and everyone was fine.
Yeah. Sorry, Mary Elizabeth Kelly, former guest of this podcast and friend. We love ya.
Your name is very unique because you are very unique.
We love ya.
No, but you know what I mean? Or it would be like Kelly Ann. Like, I just feel like people used to always have the same name. It's not too big of a deal.
Yeah. Kendahl. We did it.
Woo! Oh my God. Look at the time.
I know.
We did exactly an hour. We're professional podcasters.
We did really well.
Should we do a whole episode where we do accents?
Nope.
Please.
No, I hate doing accents. You know that. I
would love to do an accent.
Doing accents.
I would love to play a little British boy in the next episode. Comment down below what you think we should do.
Oh, no.
This is the first time you got the ick.
Yeah, this is the first time I got the ick from you. Well, as always, it's Monday. This is Happy Wife, Happy Life. Please like, comment, subscribe on this video. If you're listening on Spotify, we are filming in the Spotify offices, which we love. You can also hear this podcast on Apple Music.
And I got a new Apple Watch. For my birthday, I bought myself an Apple Watch, and I just wanted to share. I hadn't told anyone yet.
Thank you, Kendahl.
This is my first day wearing it.
So
you've noticed me looking
You've told a bunch of people.
If you look at me, if you notice me looking down, I'm looking at my Apple Watch.
You told our producer the second he got in the car today. So you've told a bunch of people. You told me. You told our roommate.
Yep. Okay. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope to see you next week.
Yes. And if you want even more, go join our Patreon. It's not that much money to get a bunch of extra stuff.
A bunch of extra stuff. And we're about to film an episode for our Patreon where we talk about taking care of each other when we're sick.
Kendahl is losing it, so we have to go now.
I'm really sick.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.